So Victor Oladipo is now. Let's talk about it. Of course, Victor Oladipo, two-time All-Star, been having his premier 2 seasons with the Indianapolis Colts, where he came over 65 games to be lowering his production over injury history over the last few seasons. We're the only person that technically produced well consistently over the Pacers' rejuvenation back into late 2018 was over Shabonis and Oladipo combo with Miles Turner and decent to average depth until Tyreek Evans acted like an idiot and got himself suspended for 2 seasons. Yeah, that has to suck. So it came over a quick trade over to Toronto, back over to Indianapolis where he played the next 9 games, and then Houston for 20 games where he produced only 33% from the field, only 19.1 points per game with his lowest 40% field goal percentage, in his career, and he even gotten worse from the 3-point line, and that hasn't been done since like what 20 since 2019. Oh my goodness. He's not finishing around the rim. The guy has a plethora, history with injuries, and it's just tough to see if he's going to even be playing as well as he did. Like when I first saw him in his later years at OKC, in his only season over in OKC, and his early starts into Indianapolis, he's still one of the better skill players you can have over in the wing. Tremendous depth, and guess what? We only got rid of him for Avery Bradley and Kelly Olynyk in a 2022 first round pick, and swapped the pick with the Brooklyn Nets. That was technically it. Oh, also with the buyout, the Miami Heat also were expected to even get LaMarcus Aldridge after his recent buyout with the San Antonio Spurs over before the deadline even ended. Also, Orlando just thought, get rid of the team that was consistently reaching over for eighth seed and restart over with the rebuild. It's just a consistent plethora of like mediocrity. I mean, only with still keeping Hero, especially Duncan, and Dragic still to be like an average to non-starter to second to six man. I think Miami really did well to keep over emerging talent Butler and Bam, with still keeping more of their depth pieces and only getting rid of trade fodder like Olynyk that can literally fit on any other team that's going to be below average playoff contender, and of course Avery Bradley that I didn't even know was playing for us. I thought we would get rid of Iggy Ladala, but it looks like we have more faith. Atlanta Hawks also Rajon Rondo traded over over to the LA Clippers for Lou Williams, a multi-time six man of the year for veteran point guard that's already an NBA champion. So I guess you can do something over for that. I have no reason over to question that, even though they're both 30-year-olds that have depth positions, but you can still smooth in Rondo for a decent position for so he can be more vocal in the offense, and that's I guess the best thing you can do over before the deadline. Because Atlanta was technically not doing much, especially with Rondo in the helm. Also, Gary Trent Jr. is in Toronto now. Gary Clark and Gary Harris. Oh God, is it Gary Harris on Orlando now? And I think Aaron Gordon is now gone. That's kind of crazy though. How we get this much information in just a span of a few days. I'm telling you, man, NBA off seasons will give you shocking news. I mean, of course, we have the NFL, but that comes to a given to what they're going to be useful for because you have 11 guys on the field. You're not going to always get the best performance out of. You're not going to get still the best performance. It's always like a team effort. Well, NBA, like these guys got to also have individual performances and see what they can produce for the team for them to be beneficial. So thanks to the deadline is over, and we have the second half of the season to go. What do you think is going to happen over the offseason? I'm already excited enough. Oladipo is now on the Miami Heat. I think Kyle Lowry is supposed to be gone. Oh, by the way, Nikola Vucevic is now with a 4-year deal. It only traded for 2 first-round picks to the Chicago Bulls. Crazy, right? An all-star, a more recent all-star of the Orlando Magic. Blazers acquire Norman Powell, Aaron Gordon to the Nuggets. How is that going to function over like 2 franchise players and Evan Fournier get Boston Celtics get Evan Fournier? Oh my god, I actually one of the sharpshooters. Are they really turning away all their players? So yes, Evan Fournier is gonna be a Celtic, guys. Eric Gordon is gonna be a Nugget, and Vucevic is gonna be a Bull. Oh god. Oh, by the way, the Kings get Kevin Gillett. That's about it for cash and a heavily protected second round pick. That's technically what the Clippers want. That's all they get. Just Kevin Gillett, just a depth piece. I don't know what the benefit was for that. I guess Marquise Chris goes to the Spurs for Cody Lenier and some money. Brad Wanamaker, that I thought he was a Celtic, so he went to the Warriors for cash. Matt Thomas for a second round pick. Now Matt Thomas, technically a bench warmer coming over for just the basic second round pick. 2 second round picks for Corey Joseph to the Pistons for Dillon Wright that puts up average numbers for Detroit and the only average point guard you got. I don't think there's anybody like it. I think other than DM Jelly, your sophomore player, and like nobody else because he got rid of D Rose. Griffin is gone. Dillon Wright, you have no wing players. There's no production to actually build up over in the future until the next draft. The Kings are also trading away. Oh, and Bajalka, that's one of the useful sharpshooter three point makers for the team. For Mo Harkless and Chris Silva. So we get rid of Mo Harkless. So Miami is making a lot of big trades. Also, JaVale McGee is gone. JaVale McGee is going back, returning to the Denver Nuggets. And it's been, I think, near a decade since he's been a Nugget. The Cavs get Isaiah Hartenstein, and 2 second round picks. It's a 3-way trade also. Daniel Theus, Troy Brown, and Javonte Green are going to the Bulls. Daniel Gofford and Chandler Hutchinson from the Chicago Bulls go to the Wizards, and Mo Wagner and Luke Carnett from the Wizards go to the Celtics. I think the Celtics could have benefited off getting Daniel Gofford and Chandler Hutchinson for decent depth pieces other than Mo Wagner. That I guess could have been just a basic 2-way. I think the Celtics lost that one. That 3-way trade was a complete misfire. The team that benefited over most of this is literally just Chicago, and especially over their Vucevic trade. Brasikits and George Hill go to the Sixers. Troy Bradley and Austin Rivers go to the Thunder with also second round pick. And Travis Ferguson and Vincent Poirier. Now, Ferguson is a potential future role piece that you can have over for the Knicks that are already like 4th seed. I think 4th seed still coming over with average role pieces. I feel like he's just a low tier Alonzo Trier with a jump shot. I just haven't seen much of Ferguson over most of his ability in OKC. Austin Rivers, he's been a no name so far, and I know he's been playing for the team for quite a while. So seeing him just get traded for absolute pennies on the dollar was completely worthless. And all the Sixers get is just the Knicks' second round pick guard and George Hill. Mavs out shooting with veteran guard JJ Redick and Nikola Mele, an average three in the bench warmer uh big center, and JJ Redick that's like wasted his last 2 seasons as a Pelican. I mean, he gets over average numbers, but I just think it's pretty ridiculous to just keep him in the Pelicans for that long. You add him with good depth piece, so Redick is now a Maverick. And I thought that was going to happen when the 2019 or 2018 offseason was going to occur, but somehow the Mavericks are idiots. Also for James Johnson and Wes Idawa and a second round pick. Norman Powell for Gary Trent and Rodney Hood. I guess that does much for the Raptors' role pieces you can finish over the fast break, because the Raptors have been absolute garbage, in my opinion. Evan Fournier is going to the Celtics for Jeff Teague. That's and Aaron Gordon for Gary Harris, R.J. Hampton, and of course a future first round pick. Crazy role places, especially to get rid of a young player like R.J. Hampton. But it's over for them to compete, because the Nuggets are still a potential force for playoff contenders, even though they came over a second round, coming in as a top seed when they returned to the playoffs, then getting smashed in the first round in 7 games against the Spurs, and of course they went middle seed last time and only got to the second round. So they add playoff implications into their group, adding an amazing skill player like Aaron Gordon that can move out the floor, do great spacing. He can still shoot. I don't think he's not that impressive of a shooter anyway. And seeing how we're looking in the league so far, in the Western Conference, the Nuggets are only fifth seed with 26 wins behind the Los Angeles Lakers that are possibly going to get a downturn, and then the Clippers. That I guess made a beneficial play still in LA and with familiar head coach with possibly better chemistry issues. And just still to know that the Utah Jazz and the Phoenix Suns, two lower tier teams left last season, are now number one and second best in the Western Conference. Not that many trades off them except the Utah Jazz. So that's practically the deadline. I mean, yeah, there's Marquise Chris being gone, and practically I think Miami had low risk, high reward over most of the trading deadline. Of course, it looks like the Orlando Magic that I guess they're trading over the pieces because they're the second worst team in the NBA. And they are literally the worst in the Eastern Conference, coming over 15 and 29. I don't know how they spread over their floor, with accepting mediocrity, being consistently 8th to 7th seed. So I guess this was the smarter way to go to refrange and rebuild what the squad you have. I mean, we're only with 15 wins over totally in the season, worst in the conference. You're coming only with your worst road record you had since, I don't know, I want to say like half a decade ago. And now your best players are, I guess, Mo Bamba, Wendell Carter. Yeah, Wendell Carter is now Chicago is now in Orlando Magic. Markelle Fultz and R.J. Hampton and Gary Harris. That's technically it. I mean, you can at least have still some faith in Jonathan Isaac, but now this is just a rebuilding unit, in my opinion. And hopefully they do gain a first round pick for the future. I do have faith in Cole Anthony. I'm a bit like shocked because I thought they were going to stick with the team for a while until they could find that top prize come the off season. But Orlando's not that big market of a team, so they have to do what they got and start again in the next few years. That's all I'm seeing over most of this. Toronto, we supposedly were supposed to get rumors over Kyle Lowry possibly going for a contender like the Sixers or at least the Heat, but we didn't get that. But we get Oladipo, of all people. And that's technically all the news I got for you today over the deadline. Like, comment, subscribe. And if you were if you're and you have a favorite team that was a loser at the deadline, deal with it. If you are happy over the current trades that happen with your favorite team, good for you. You're possibly not going to make it to the playoffs anyway, or not make it to the finals. Either way, everybody lose. You die alone. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe to the DST Network for more sports news and updates. Thank you for taking your time out your day, and hope you do have a great one. Thanks.